All right, so here we are. We're looking at number 1. We have triangle ABC with BD that's drawn from angle B. And we're given a little bit of information here. We're told that angle A is equal to, or is congruent to angle C, and ADB and CDB are right angles. What are we being asked to prove? Let's take a minute and look up here at the board. What are we being asked to prove? Triangle ADB is congruent to triangle CDB. Alright, so first line of any proof is always what? A given. So let's go ahead and write that out. Angle A is congruent to angle C. Angle ADB and CDB are right angles. Okay, that's our given. Here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to mark that given information on those two triangles. So angle A and angle C are congruent. And ADB, CDB are right angles. Okay, and again, what are we being asked to prove?
That ADB is congruent to CDB.
Triangle ADB is congruent to CDB. All right. So let's go to the next line of proof. What's given here, number 2?
BD is congruent to BD, which would be your reflexive.
So that's reflexive property. And how do I know then on the next line that angle ADB and CDB, how do I know that they are congruent?
Would it be perpendicular?
No.
Right.
Well, we know that they're both right angles. That's given to us, right?
Yeah.
And what do we know about all right angles?
Well, so if A and C are congruent and those are 90 and you know BD is congruent, then I don't know what the property or your reason would be, but it's, I don't know, it's given.
Definition of right angles. All right angles are congruent. Since they're all equal to 90, they're all equal to each other. All right angles are congruent. So definition of right angles. Now, notice what we have. We have angle, angle, side. So therefore the two triangles are congruent by angle, angle, side. And all we have to say down here, triangle ADB is congruent to triangle by angle, angle, side. Pretty straightforward. Let's try another one. So, again, think about the given information. B is the midpoint of AC, and DB is perpendicular to AC. So, let's basically just copy that information, put it in the first line, and that's our given. So B is the midpoint of AC, and DB is perpendicular to AC. Okay, guys, what does it mean to be the midpoint?
That the distance from each side is the same. So that's saying AB is congruent to CB.
Yeah, so AB is congruent to CB. And normally I would just put that as definition of midpoint, but in here it's kind of a little bit more detail. The midpoint divides the segment into two congruent parts. And that basically is the definition of the midpoint. How do we know that ABD and CBD are right angles? What information tells us that those must be right angles? Cannon?
Is that perpendicular?
Yeah, because they're perpendicular. So therefore, my reasoning over here should be what?
Perpendicular lines.
Definition of
Perpendicular.
perpendicular lines.
Is there like a definition of everything?
Yes. That's why I don't teach you guys definitions. We'd be here all year learning nothing but definitions. So that's why when you're doing these types of proofs, sometimes it gets a little tricky, but you have to think about all these definitions that you know. All right? So what should be given there on line 4? What should we write? So look at the reason. Right angles are congruent. So what should we write? Okay, Sam?
ABD is congruent to CBD.
Angle ABD is congruent to angle CBD. Okay, so let's kind of mark off what we know so far. We know that AB is congruent to CB. And I know that I had these two right angles. So what's number 5 then? Sam, you're the lucky one again.
Okay, I'm not sure about this one, but
All right.
DBA is congruent to DBC,
Well, we've already got that. That's the same thing we said here in number 4.
but it's reflexive, so that means it's.
What else could we use? Think about this. If we want to show that these two triangles are congruent, right? That's what we're trying to prove. We've got it, kind of said we've got a side and angle. What would probably be the next thing that we might want to show?
Oh, side angle side.
Side angle side. So that means we need to know what?
That DB.
Yeah, we need to show that DB, and because it's a shared side, it's automatically equal to itself. So DB is congruent to DB. And therefore, we now have side, angle, side. Okay. This example is a little different. So we're given that AB is parallel to YZ, so let's write that out. So AB is parallel to YZ, and C is the midpoint of BY. All right, now guys, here's basically how you would do a proof. What are you being asked to prove?
That AB is congruent to.
Okay, so I need to show that AB up here at the top is congruent to YZ at the bottom. And that might be a little more difficult to do. Wait, here's the theory, and this goes back to what we talked about with CP. If I can show that my two triangles are congruent, their corresponding parts must be congruent. So before I can show that AB is congruent to YZ, I first need to show that my two triangles are congruent. So, we're told that AB is parallel to YZ. So what does that tell you about angle B and angle Y?
That they are congruent with C as the midpoint.
No. Yeah.
Isn't it because of vertical angles they be congruent?
Well, we do have vertical angles, but it's not for angle B and angle Y.
Well,
Yeah, remember we talked about with parallels and transversals? We have the Z. Anytime you have the Z, the corners of the Z are congruent because they are alternate interior angles. So therefore, angle ABY is congruent to angle ZYB. So we know these two are congruent. And then Keanu, you brought up vertical angles, right? Okay, and that's gonna be basically gonna be angle C here in the middle. So ACB and YCZ are also equal or congruent because they are vertical. So didn't we just say that C is the midpoint? So what does that tell you about BC and CY? They are congruent. So BC is congruent to YC. Again, basically definition of midpoint. So my two triangles must be congruent because of what? Well, we have an angle,
Side angle.
side in the middle, then an angle. And since my two triangles are congruent, then my corresponding parts must be congruent by C, P, C, T, C. Yes?
So, I don't know, I seem to get, like, you have that, like AB, you have that as, like, corresponding, or congruent. So couldn't it be side angle side? Like, I guess I don't understand why it's angle side angle instead of side angle side.
Well, side angle side means that I have to know that two of my sides are congruent. I only know that one side is congruent. I don't know anything about AC or ZC. And at the point, I don't know anything about AB or YZ. All I know is that they correspond to one another, but I don't know what their relative measures are. Okay, we're done.
What?
What is that? Go back.